Hey friend, let me tell you something that I see every single week. I work with a lot of founders, so I see founders that maybe like you and me, because I've done this too, that we buy an AI tool and we get really excited. It is exciting times, I have to say, exciting times where we think we can save time and energy, and we can. But the thing is that we go off and we then plug it into our system. We fire off, maybe we create some messages. We fire off some messages. And then what happens is we do all the things. And maybe this is the expectation part that is not connected. But about 2 weeks later, really not even that amount of time, you get like crickets because we haven't put in the time to necessarily use the tool, but now we are truly sometimes convinced that the AI thing did not work for my business. It did not work for me. I hear that a lot. That it did not work. But I would say, but here's the truth that I think probably nobody wants to hear. And I have to say, from my experience and what I teach people, that AI did not fail because the AI is only doing what you tell it to do. What I see happening is that the upfront work was never done. That is where we are. So where does that take us? Some of the things we have to understand is that 80% of sales require like 5 or more follow-ups. And if you are an entrepreneur or business owner, you know, especially I call it being in these entrepreneur streets, you already know that it takes more than 5 follow-ups, probably like 10, 12. I think I heard somebody say like 18, which is crazy to me, but it probably does take that. If you take into account that someone doesn't become a client or customer on the first interaction with you, they become a client. It might be 6 months, a year and a half. I had somebody on my email list, I guess, perfect example. She was on the email list for 2 years and finally booked a call with me. So I guess that was well beyond 12 touches. So what the thing I want to get across is that 44%, in my research, 44% of salespeople quit after one attempt. That gap between like the follow-up and the lead, what the lead needs is where it gets what I'm trying to say. That gap from between where the follow-up lead, we follow with the lead and where the human actually does, that is where revenue is leaking. So if you're only following up once and we need 12, then that's where the leaking happens. I've had business coaches tell me that the money is in the follow up, the revenue is in the follow up. And I know I struggle with that. With AI and the automations, it's gotten better, but at the same time, there's work that needs to be done up front. And that was the reason why I wanted to record this to share that we do not take out the human element. Even if it's leaking, that because the leaking part can be solved with a system, but there's still an element of human in it. We don't let the tool, you don't start with the tool, you start with the human. And the tool will only do as much as you share with it because it only outputs what you put into it or what has been put into it. So if we know that us as entrepreneurs or salespeople or whatnot, capacity of your sales is that you're spending 30% of your time actually selling. So what are you doing with the other 70%? And I think you might agree on this, that is admin, busy work, whatever that is, research, manual entry. When I say manual, meaning that you're on email, you're following up, writing the emails to go out to each client or prospect and following up that way. You know that the AI tool that you bought or you're investing in, we can automate that process with that, right? If you don't know, now you know that you can automate that, but only if you know what you're looking for. What is driving you've toured, I guess, only if you know what you're looking for. What are you driving toward? And what are you measuring? So I wrote a recent LinkedIn article, a newsletter about this. And I didn't call it this, but maybe it should be called, but that's the human work. And I really wanted to have this conversation with you today and just drop a YouTube video that was more conversational as to why we do the things we do. It's really important to me to understand why something happens, and then we can execute on it, because the AI does execute. It executes faster. And one of the great things I like about it is that it's consistent. We are consistent. And some humans are not consistent. It is more consistent than we ever could be. And that is something that's what I use the tool for. But you have to do the thinking first. You have to think first. And that is something when I build out systems and say it's 5 steps in a system, 4 out of the 5 steps is human first. Before we even get to the AI, there is work to be done, because otherwise you're going to be spinning your wheels and you're going to get the wrong output, and you're spending more time, right? Than you want to spend. So I think what happens is that most founders try to skip the thinking part. And what I think, and I've heard other people say this too, that they think the AI is there to think for you. You buy the tool and expect it to figure out everything for you. And I really think that's like hiring an employee and giving them like no job description, no training, no process, and then you blame them when something doesn't get done. That doesn't seem very right, and it doesn't seem very fair, does it? And then everyone's frustrated. Do the work up front, and the AI becomes, I think, one of your most powerful assets and tool to use. It is reliable. It becomes your reliable team member. And we all could use this. You a reliable team member that we know it will do exactly what we say, but also is consistent. Wouldn't that be that would be great? I think when you say it like that out loud, it really is a great thing. I think if you skip that part, you skip it, you wasted money on the tool that's sitting there, but also time. And we can't get the time. So it's about being efficient, using resources to get the workflow correct. That's something that we definitely help with, that I help with. And you're not sitting there waiting for the AI tool, whichever I say AI tool, because that can encompass whatever you're using, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, all the things. It doesn't matter, but you're waiting for the instructions for it to give you instructions that you never gave. If you have not done the work up front to understand what your process is, what your workflow is, and how you put the system together. That is the question. So the question isn't does AI work for my business, right? The question is, have I done the work to tell the AI what I want it to do? Have you done the work to tell the AI what you want it to do? If the answer is no, that is not a tool problem, right? That is a systems problem. I say that is a system problem. It's something you can build a system. You build the system, and that's something that you have control over. So what I planned on doing, and let me know in the comments if this is something that you would like to see in the next video, show a workflow for my 2, 3, 4 system, meaning that's the process that happens after the first you're following up. After the first initial contact with the prospect, what happens? What's the automated part that happens afterwards to keep the prospect engaged and also get them to the next? That is my intention for the next video. If that sounds like something that you want to hear, let me know if there is a particular thing that you want to hear about or know about. Let me know in the comments. Give me a like or a comment. Let me know if this was helpful. If you have any questions, I will be putting the link to the newsletter in the captions. And if you want the full breakdown of what I talked about this, I wrote a full newsletter article about this on LinkedIn, and I will be sharing more information about the upcoming workshops. Lots of things are happening. Upcoming workshops in person and on Zoom, and then also the what is going to be launched pretty soon. So keep in contact about that, and I will see you in the next video, friend. Thank you.